We are live. Welcome to Hack Shack Studios, you guys. I just realized my microphone is not in proper position here, so I'm swinging it over. And Artie Bear, where do babies come from? They come from heaven. They come from God. That's where they come from. So that's as detailed as I'm going to get into that. How you guys been? Hope you're doing good. It's getting a little warm here in SoCal, so I got the fans on. I was running these fans yesterday on a couple live streams, and people tell me they can't hear them, so that is a good thing. That is a real good thing. Hold on. I'm going to get myself something to drink, get myself a cool beverage so I can hydrate myself during this stream. We have Roland. What's up, man? How you guys? How's Pedro doing? I borrow ideas, only the good ones. He doesn't borrow the bad ones. So smart man. Yeah, I just wanted to chill out, hang out a little bit this morning, and just see what you guys are all up to. It's just a chill. Like I said, any questions? Where do babies come from? Why is the sky blue? Why is water wet? I don't know. All these questions, I can answer them. I can answer them all. Is there a God? Of course there's a God. How are you guys? All right. So, Arton. Oh, we got Sheldon Martin in here. Have you had a bunch more fans in the stream of fans? What? Now you have a bunch more fans in the stream of fans. Oh, cool. Actually, the chat just caught up with me. So yeah, you guys are all over the place. So thanks for hanging. We got Wizard, the Wazord, the Warzard. Who are you most jealous of art skills wise in comics? I'll tell you. I know this is a lot of people's go-to, but actually, Jim Lee, I've worked side by side with that guy, and I watch him draw, and it's insane. Like he just can draw. Like it just comes right from here down here, and he makes it look so effortless. So yeah, I'd like to strangle that guy and take his power from him. Another person that I saw, but I know that this is definitely something I could never aspire to, and it is Travis Charest. And Travis is one of those guys that he just sees the whole picture in his head. So he can draw from like a nose out. Like he doesn't do any structure. He doesn't build the figure or anything like that. He just kind of draws, just almost like it's already pre-drawn, but it's all in his head. So, but I know that that's just something I could never do. Jim still kind of breaks things down into structures and does a layout. I think he doesn't do as tight as he may have in the past, but Jim is really good at just like shapes. So when Jim blocks things out, they're these shapes, but they're all proportioned, like head, body, arms, legs, everything. They're all pretty much in proportion to where they should be, but they're just kind of like these scribbled shapes. And then he fills out the shape, and I can't do that either. I try at the very beginning, like when I'm just drawing something, I do that, but then to get the form and proportion down, I really have to go in there and work it out. He seems to already have it innately when he just does those little scribbles, and that's the difference. But he's done it quite a bit longer than I have, and a lot more of it concentrated wise. I have most of my career as an inker, although I penciled, a lot during that time, but not every day like, some of these guys. So I have skills, but I don't have the mad crazy skills a lot of these dudes have. Roland asks, a good artist creates, a better artist steals. Why do fools fall in love? Because they're fools. You answered your own question. That was an easy one. Why do you drive in a parkway but park in a driveway? Because somebody dumb came up with these names for streets and drives and parkways. So there you go. There's some dumb people out there, Sheldon. Life isn't completely thought out. I think people are just making it up as they go along. So there's a lot of contradictions in the world. You just got to get used to it. I'm sorry, Sheldon. I'm sorry. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow. Yeah, there's a lot of things like that in life. Gaming or what? Trademark. Always trademark. What's up? Oh, we got another Sheldon Martin. When you take your left sock off, your right sock is left. Yes, it is. That's another thing. Like, why is left left? Like, should we have another word for left and left? Like your left hand, and what is left? That's another thing about the English language. That's another thing. Like, I don't, you know how there's these teachers that go, oh, I teach the English language. It's like there are so many contradictions in the English language. I think people pretty much teach themselves the English language just by listening to people talk and then emulating it, because there are so many contradictions. Who put the bomb in the bomb shoe bop do bop? Some really inspired gentlemen. A linguist, a person that really knows the English language. So there you go, Sheldon. Bomp the domp, the bomp and stomp and chomp. Those aren't even words yet. All right. Why are shipments by cars and cargoes are by ships? Once again, contradictions, man. People just make shit up. The thing is, I always, it's like what sticks and what doesn't. You know what I mean? Like somebody goes, okay, this is a shipment. This is cargo. And then people are like, okay. And then they just start calling it that. And then before you know it, everything that Sheldon's bringing up is true. We have a clusterfuck of contradictions in the world. But to be honest, I have heard shipments being referred to as a shipment coming from a ship. So I think some of this is just messing with me. But you have not succeeded, my friend. My mind is not blown yet. I'm sure if I go long enough, you guys will just, my brain will melt down at some point. Chris says, hi, all. See, Chris knows the rules. He's just polite. He's a polite boy. He's being kind in the chat, just hanging out. And then Sheldon and is it Liam? I can never say you guys' names, but you guys are just messing with me. You guys had to use normal names too, because I can't read half of these. Johnny Rando, do you hate when that happens? I hate when anything that I don't want to happen happens. How's that? Oh my God, this is going to be madness. I'm going to rename this the Madness Stream because it's already just digressing into madness. I borrow ideas. Please have some sanity here. No. Art has mad eyebrow skills. Do I? They're getting a little lighter now. Well, when I was younger, they were all like very black, very dark. So very Groucho Marx. I was very Groucho Marx. I think somebody said this is Leroy. So, and the only reason I'm saying that is because somebody else said it. So I have no skills when it comes to some of these names. What was it like going to school with Abraham Lincoln? Well, one thing is Abraham Lincoln really didn't go to school. He was self-taught. So, you can't trick me. But yeah, we were study partners in in the log cabin. So when we weren't chopping wood, Abraham and myself, we would read Shakespeare and different things. We would read law. We would read any kind of legal books and any kind of legal papers we could get our hands on. And you know what? I was the one that says, you know what? At one point, or at some point in your life, you should run for president, Abraham. And he said, I believe I will. So that's how that story went down. Also, like Abraham he was so much taller than I am. And I hated him for it because he was a chick magnet, man. The chicks dug it. They dug his tall, dark, he was dark skin, dark features. They dug that, man. So Abraham got some tail in the day. So advice to you guys, if you're hanging out and you're looking for a significant other or just a good time, don't hang out with tall people. It was very hard for me because everybody's taller than me, so I can never follow my own advice. Try to find friends that are shorter. It's like if you're going to go out, if you're a girl and you're going to go out with your girlfriends, make sure you're the prettiest one in the group. Otherwise, it doesn't go so well for you. So we have Love Pigeon. Hail Art, good to see you again, sir. I think you were in the chat last night with Captain F-Head. I'll tell you, is it Wooly? I want to say Wooly because there's a U, but I think they just call him Willy. Do they call him Wooly? I think they do call him Wooly, actually. And Captain F-Head. I dig those guys. Those guys are a lot of fun to hang out with. There's a lot of the Brits and the Aussies. I'm having a great time. So I think the Aussies are like, I believe Michael Bancroft is an Aussie, I believe. And then God, there's so many I know by their names, but I don't know their code names, so I don't want to out anybody. But just good times. Blue Samurai, or does she handle that? Wait. This is a two-part. Did you ask a question previously that I may have missed out on, or does she? Wait a minute. What is that in relation to? Oh, here it is. God, it was right. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. There's a snake in my boot. Please ask Pam to check the Indiegogo messages. I will. And we usually do it together, but to be honest, I do feel a little out of control these days because I'm doing a lot more shilling, as they say, promotion for Black and White. And so 2 hours on a live stream, 3 hours on a live stream, you do 2 or 3 of those a day, and your day is pretty much gone. So everything just kind of blurs into one. So even the shows kind of all turn into one show. But yeah, we'll look into that, Blue Samurai. So is it the private message? Wait. Yeah, because there's the messages that are on the page, and then there's the private messages. And I don't think it was a private message, because if it was, I would have seen it, Blue Samurai. Hold on, I'm gonna screen share anyways, because I want to go over the Black and White campaign, because we are so close. We are so close to 25K. You guys. I think you're seeing this. So yeah, we are maybe a backer or so away from 25K, and also we're 3 backers away from 400 backers. This is monumental, you guys. Thank you so much for supporting this. And if you could continue, even if you backed it, to tweet out or to share with your friends on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, it's all appreciated. I really, really appreciate. This is all guerrilla marketing here, so I don't have an advertising budget yet. So you guys are my advertising budget. So thank you in advance, and thanks for all the support that I've gotten thus far. So updates, comments. Let's see what comments are. Let's. I see Jimmy Owens. I see Jimmy, I don't see your message, so it must be a private message. So, and I don't want to dox myself. So maybe you just sent it because I see that I have an email. Let's see what the updates are. Ooh, original pages, you guys. Look at that. Blast from the Past, 1994. Reed Blackett, aka Black, putting the smackdown on the villains for harassing Miss Stone. Yeah, don't mess with Reed Blackett's friends. He doesn't like that. So yeah, these are the original pages from 1994. These are not the remastered or the redrawn versions that are in Volume 1. So they are in their raw entirety. So then here's a page with the black and the white in their old costumes. So this is vintage stuff, and this is pre-robots. So the new version has all those thugs are robots now. And this page, I think, is completely redone. Yeah, there's aspects to this page that have made it into the final Volume 1, but most of this is all redone. So I think this will be a lot of fun to get into a black and white fans collection there. All right, so if you have not heard, Black and White Volume 1, this is a second chance. So I thought about this the other day on a live stream. I think I said it on Captain F Heads, or maybe it was Shay. I went on Shay's show last night as well, or yesterday, the Red Valkyrie. She is awesome. She dressed up like white. It was very cool, man. Very, very flattering. And so I started thinking about it. It's like I was going into the history of Black and White, and I was like, this is actually not just a second chance campaign, but this is also a second chance for the IP, for the book itself, because it came out in '94, and so ever since we had to kind of stop. I've told that story before. The market fell out of the comics industry, and we could no longer afford to produce the book. So then I had to go back to Marvel Comics. I left Image and went back to Marvel Comics, which was a very, very sad day to give up a dream. But I did. And so all I thought about for 25 years is Black and White. So this is a second chance for the book itself to find a new audience after 25 years. And this is a second chance to get it into to people's hands that may not have got it the first campaign. So this second chance actually has two meanings. This is all working out. Symmetry, you guys. Symmetry, 222, which is 6. I don't know what that means, but I can do math, basic math. So yeah, Black and White Volume 1, second chance, you guys. If you missed out the first time, this is a second chance. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. This is exceeding all expectations I had for this campaign. And this is greatly going to help, because every extra dollar means it's an extra day I can work and pay for the lights and the overhead here. So let me go back to story, which is main page. So I want to share this piece of artwork with you guys. So this is a piece I did just for this campaign. So this is the Total Bot Annihilation piece of artwork. And so all great pieces of artwork should have names. So this is the Total Bot Annihilation. So yeah, I put this together for this campaign just to set it aside from the original and to give you guys some new black and white artwork to look at. I think it came out really, really good, mainly because the great Kyle Ritter did the color work on it. And he knocked this thing out of the ballpark. Thank you so much, Kyle. I do appreciate you making time for me. He usually does all my covers. I think he's done all the black and white covers so far. So I do appreciate you making time for me, my friend. And you always do a great job. So I'm real happy with this. It's so funny because whenever I first do a piece of artwork, I'm always like, I don't like it. Like, I always see things I can fix. I'm never really happy with it. But this piece of artwork actually is growing on me. So I wasn't completely happy with it at first. And the more I look at it, the more I really do like it. I think this thing came out really good. And I don't often say that about pieces of art I do. Um, I do like them on some level, but I really am 100% happy with this thing. I think it came out really well. So we are offering this as a Total Bot Annihilation poster. So this poster, you guys, check out these tiers. It is a 24 by 36 size. It will come signed, and it comes with a trading card based on the same artwork. So I do have some proofs here. I'll show you trading card proofs, you guys. So I'll make a point and show that to you when I come back. And but yeah, so we have that, and then like I said, we have each one of the tiers comes with this trading card, which is killer. It came out really good, and it is at the printers right now. And so then it is a 54-page graphic novel, square bound, and it's all upgraded. The paper's upgraded. It's the cover is upgraded. I'll show that off as well with the camera. And the best part about this campaign, or one of the good parts about this campaign, is this book is done, you guys. It's all printed up. So the only thing that we don't have printed is the new stuff to this campaign, which is the poster, the trading cards, and the new sticker with the new artwork on it. And then we added a Greg Capullo Virgin cover to this campaign, which is selling quite nicely, you guys. So we have 16 of those claimed, which is very, very cool. So here's those variants. So we had the original variant for the original campaign, which we did make those available on this campaign, but we only had like 130 of them. So we sold out. We sold out of the original. I believe I have 20 or 30 of those left here, but some of them are going to go into my private collection, and I do have to hold on to those in case some of them are damaged in shipping, which I'm hoping none of them are, because these are becoming very, very rare. And one of you guys sent me an article a while back and said that this cover right here, the black and white Greg Capullo cover, may be the rarest cover Greg Capullo has ever done. So I'm not really sure how that works with collectability. I don't pretend to be an expert. I haven't really got into collecting since I was a young kid. So I'm not really that knowledgeable about that. But I do know rarity and condition are two of the criterias, and then the other one's demand. So I think rarity and condition you're definitely going to get. And if there's a demand for the cover, then you have those three criteria. So it could be worth something, but I don't really want to mislead because I don't really know. And then so in the chat, I think it was Vilnid, he said, Adam Post and I were talking about possibly doing a variant of the variant. And so Vilnid said, do it as a virgin. So when you guys talk, I do listen. And so that's pretty much the origin of this new Greg Capullo Virgin cover. So we do have a tier to itself. We do have a collection of books. That's the feature tier. And you can also add this on at checkout. So then we have the commemorative black and white Vampirilla cover, which I'm very, very flattered that Dynamite thought so highly of black and white to bring into a Vampirilla cover to basically help celebrate her 50th anniversary. And it's her 50th and black and white's 25th anniversary. So that kind of worked out. So somehow all the math is working out, you guys. The twos, the 222s, and the 25 and the 50. So that's very cool, man. So Kyle also colored that. I'm very, very proud of that cover. And we have the original campaign goodies. So right now they're only offered as an add-on, but we are going to be, I know I said this yesterday, but time got away from me. I'm hoping to have some time with my wife tonight to add this back on as a tier. So we're going to bring back the Killer Bot tier, and that one sold out because it had the original Greg Capullo cover in it. So we're going to re-offer it at a little bit of a discount because the new variant, the Virgin Greg Capullo variant, is it's $5 less So then the tier will be $5 less. But it will come with these campaign goodies. And then, like I said, the campaign goodies are also as an add-on. So if you buy any one of the books or any of the tiers, you can add this on to your order. So the tier is and the killer I'm sorry, you guys. The campaign goodies are as follows. We have the black and white trading card. We have the 3-button collection. We have the 2 embroidered patches. We have the mini print. We have the double-sided bookmark. And we have the new edition, which is the oversized sticker. So I believe the sticker is 3 by 3. Maybe it's 3.5 by 3. So Ethan Van Sciver inspired me with his Cyber Frog sticker, which I do have here. I should show you as well. So you can get an idea of the size of it. So we have a lot of sold out tiers because we had a lot of the original Capullo covers in there. And also we had a lot of early birds. So we are going to be, like I said, we're going to be bringing back that Killer Bot tier. And so also we have a drawing tier, so I can draw for you guys black and white, this fantastic robot hunting duo, Comicsgate's own. And so, yeah, we have 10 of those, and you can also add those on to any of your tier orders. So there's that. There's the Greg Capullo variant that we went over. There's the Vampirilla black and white we went over. There's the Total Bot Annihilation poster. And there's the black and white volume 1 standard. And then there is the featured, which is everything with the exception of the stretch goal goodies. So this is the 3 books plus a poster print. And these all come signed as well. So we are so very close to 25K, you guys. So I'm going to hit refresh just to see if we went up. And holy moly, you guys. Yes. Thank you so very much. We are at 25K. We were fighting so hard yesterday for this 25K, and we had a major backer back out. And so we would have hit this thing yesterday, but life being what it is, it didn't happen. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy this happened during a live stream. So thank you guys so very much. We are over 25K. I do appreciate that. And we are only 2 backers away from 400 backers. This is crazy, you guys. I am so happy with all of this. So thank you. And we only have 9 days left. I think at noon, it's probably going to go to 8 days. So we're a little over a week out from closing this campaign down. So let me go back. I want to thank you guys. Thank you. So if somebody in the chat had backed it, I do thank you. Well, I thank anybody who backed it, but if somebody's listening, I want to thank you personally. Let me see. Roland says, I can sketch proportions easily like Jim. Does that mean I could be the next Jim Lee? That's exactly what that means, Roland. I don't mince words. I don't mix them. I don't do whatever. So when I say that's exactly what that means, Roland, that's exactly what that means. You are the next Jim Lee. You heard it here, people. Keep an eye on Roland. He is going to change the entire comics industry. Chris says, are comics still an art form that one should strive for as a character artist? Can you still make enough money to support a family? I'll tell you right now, Chris, there was never money in this industry. When I got into the business, I was just a starving guy. I was out on my own early on, as a young lad. And so I had to make ends meet. So I always wanted to draw. And I went wherever people would pay me to draw. Like when I was in a band, I would do logos for people. So any way I could make money as an artist. So when I got into comic books were more steady income. So I broke in as an independent artist, and that money was real. Like you get upfront money, you wouldn't get your back end money. Sometimes promises were made, they wouldn't happen. So the independents were really tough for me because, when you have to pay rent, you have your overhead, you need steady money. So that's why I went to the mainstream, because I heard Marvel and DC paid on time, and they made do, or they made good on their promises. Hold on. But when I went, there wasn't that much money in it. So I was working, just case in point. So I think when I started working at DC, my rate to pencil was like $70 a page. So this is also, mid 80s. So this is quite a while ago. But to be honest, rates haven't changed that much over the years. I guarantee you there's still people that are working in the mainstream for around that amount of money. And definitely in the independent market, people are still working for that. So this isn't going to be total doom and gloom for you, Chris. But I just want to tell you the reality of it. When I got into the business, there wasn't really money in it, but there were people that were making a good living. And the way you made money in those days is you had to do volume. So if you could do multiple pages a day, you could make good money. So if you made $70 for one page and you could do that in one day, that's what you made. But if you could do 2 pages, you made 140 for that day. So you could double your income. Even if you could get a third more of a page done, then that's a third more that you could make. And I remember Mike Carlin telling me, every day strive to do more. So if you can do a page, then do a page and a panel. Next day, a page, a panel, and another panel, and so on and so forth. So it's a ladder. Always create these ladder rungs for yourself and try to motivate yourself and inspire yourself to hit that next rung. But very realistic. Be realistic with yourself, because you don't want to get discouraged. So if you set the bar too high, it's too hard to reach. So set realistic goals for yourself incrementally. Think of it as a ladder or a staircase. So you keep doing that. Before you know it, you're doing 2 pages a day. You're doing 3 pages a day. You're doubling and tripling your income. Also, you can sell your artwork. So then become a little bit of a businessman. Get your artwork back. Become a businessman. Sell your artwork. Now there's sketches. There's commissions. In my day, there really weren't. So there's ways to make money that way. You can sell prints. Sometimes it's a little hard. I have permission from Marvel and DC to use their characters when I make prints. So I have a licensing agreement with them. Some people, it's looked and frowned upon if you do that because you're not paying their licensing fee. I don't pay their licensing fee. It's part of my contract, part of my agreement with them. It's a verbal agreement, but it's an agreement nonetheless. So, I can do art books and things like that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that in the day, there were people like Ron Lim that could do multiple books a month. There was John Byrne that could do multiple books a month. Even Todd McFarlane was a multiple book a month guy. So these guys all knew, and then there were the older guys, of course, Jack Kirby, those guys that could do multiple projects. But in my time, the guys that were contemporaries of my own were doing things like that. And I remember early in the day, Rob Liefeld and I would hang out at the old apartment 3 in Huntington Beach. And so, he would always tell me, Art, stop, because I was trying to learn just art in general, like painting, drawing, all these different things. And he was like, stop. You want to do comic books, just formulate and then get fast at it. So it's formulate, so draw the same way each time, and then get fast at it. So Rob was good friends with Todd McFarlane at the time. So Todd was a bit of a mentor to Rob. And then in turn, I got some of the trickle down from Rob. And so that was always the rule. The rule was formulate and then become faster. And so there were guys that were doing pretty well at the time. And so then the business started getting better. And so as you progress, you start getting on better books. So when you become when you're a C-list artist and then you become a B-list, you get better books. And so then those better books come with better royalties. Royalties are like based on sales. So the companies give you a percentage of the overall sales. It's not a lot. It's like a percentage of a percentage. It's not a lot, but if you're on a good selling book, it can add up. So uh, it inspires you to get better. So the better you get, then the better books you can be on. So that usually means you're more of a fan favorite. So if the fans like you, then you get on these better projects. So, excuse me, you get on these better projects and you move up. So you always aspire to like a X-Men book or something like that was selling very, very well. So once I got on the X books, working out of the X office with Bob Harris and Jim Lee and Will Portaccio and all those guys, the numbers started getting better. So, but the idea is still to do multiple projects and to work very fast. So even when I was working in the X-Men office, I was still working on Superman. So I was doing finishes on Dan Jurgens. At the same time, I was inking Jim Lee. And at the same time, I was inking Art Adams. And sometimes Walter Simonson, I got to ink some Fantastic Four over Walter Simonson, which was a great treat and privilege to do because Walter doesn't let a lot of people ink his work. So there was always multiple projects that I did. And then there was always aspire to get on better books. So then that boom hit. And so when the boom hit, I was in the right place at the right time. So then the numbers went through the roof. So the royalties were tens of thousands of dollars a month. They went from hundreds to thousands to tens of thousands of dollars. So, in the overall scheme, Chris, is you can do well. There are people in comic books even today that are doing well. There's a lot of Comicsgate guys that are doing, multiple tens of thousands of dollar campaigns. If you can do those, and you can do those in a timely fashion, once again, a timely fashion. If you can do 2-3 projects and you can put up 60, 70K, that's really good money for me. But if you're living in a place that isn't California, if you're living in Pennsylvania or someplace, Ohio or something like that, well, if you do 3 campaigns at 30K, that's 90K gross, then all of a sudden it's good money. And then always do multiple projects. Always try to figure out other revenue streams, prints, original artwork, things like that. So the reason I do like comic books so much, Chris, is because the sky's the limit. As hard as I want to work and as far as my imagination will take me. You know what I mean? Because there's no limitations. I don't work for a corporation. A corporation has these ladder rungs and it's all very rigid, so that's you can see where you're going to go. You can look at that guy over in that cubicle and go, well, that's going to be me in a year, all that stuff. Well, guess what? I don't have that. I can dream as big as I want and as willing to work hard at it as far as I can go. And as long as I have good people like you that support it, which is also a key, is to try to connect and do good work so people want to buy it, you can do very, very well. So there's always people within any profession that don't do as well as others. But I guess for me, I always aspired to be the best of the best. I understand now as being an older guy that's not necessarily the best way to go. But when I was younger, I was very, very, very competitive. And then as I get older, I realized, well, what is the best of best? It's a sliding scale. Just try to do your best, your personal best, and try to push yourself beyond yourself every day. Try to learn something new, so on and so forth. So, always try to be the best that you can be. Work to get better every day. Try to get yourself into new situations that you can get better exposure. You can make better money. But like I said, every profession has different levels to earnings. So there are people that don't do well in comics, and there are people that do exceptionally well in comics. And then there's all the in between. So I think it just depends on what you really want out of life. For me, I do like the lifestyle. I like the lifestyle of doing comic books. I don't like the idea of putting a suit and tie on. I don't like the idea of commuting into work every day. I don't like the idea of kissing corporate ass. I don't like any of those things. So I'm my own boss. I get to set my own hours. I get to work as hard or as little as I want. It's usually as hard as I need to be, or that needs to be. So I know that was a very, very long answer, but I felt like it was a good question, and I felt like that maybe you needed just to inspire you to go on, and maybe if somebody else is in the chat in the same situation, do comics because you love it. If you're a good artist, get in, and you want to make money, get into advertising. But if you want to tell stories and you want to do comic books, you have to love it, because it's long hours and it's a lot of work. So I know the chat has been going crazy, so I apologize, you guys, for not getting to some of these other stuff. I see Sheldon still in the stream, and he's probably harassing me. Wow, you guys have been very, very, very busy. So I'm going back in time. Ooh, Boogie Bot. Hey, Art. Hey, Boogie Bot. What's up, man? Oh, it's is this how you say your name? Lema? Ima? Leima? I don't know, dude. It doesn't help. Let me see. Drunken Gage. I'm sorry. Death Punk Gage. Okay. So here we are. Michael says, "Hail, failed English so bad it was below the national average on my ACT test. ACTs." Roland says, "Uno one equals one." Yes. Dead Pug Gage, is there anything you hate drawing or whatever, for whatever reason? Background, interiors, or mine? I actually like backgrounds. I like organic backgrounds. Actually, I like tech backgrounds as well. I like backgrounds because they can help storytell, and I feel like I can be creative, especially like with black and white, you're creating your own sets. You're creating your own environments. I think I wouldn't like it if it was too reality based. Like if I had to draw the Statue of Liberty, or I had to draw, some kind of like historical monument and stuff like that. I don't think I'd like that, but I like making up environments and worlds. So I do like that. Like Chrono Mechanics, I dug it. So all those ships and all the world, the offices, the HQ, all that stuff. So I do like it, but I like it when I can create the stuff, versus, like I said, if it's too reality based, I find that boring. So what don't I like to draw? I'll tell you what I don't like to draw. It's not like a particular subject. If it's something that I'm not familiar with, I don't like to draw it repetitiously. So if it's like, let's say it's a certain animal, like it's a horse, and I have to draw the scene, like it's multiple panels and it's 2 or 3 pages. I don't like having to draw a horse like 12 times. I don't like the repetition. Like if I draw repetition, I want to draw things that I really am interested in. So that's also like why I like to draw my own stories or write my own stories, because then I get to draw what I want. So I would say that for me, it's the repetition of things that I'm not interested in. And that could be anything. Hey, Art, did you record with any of your bands, and where can we listen? Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can find something. This is a chill Q&A, so let me see if I can find this. There's one of our recordings that's on. Is it? the cloud. Let me see. I don't know what it's called. SoundCloud maybe is what it's called. Let me see if I can find it. I think I've played it on the show before, but I played with a lot of different bands. And wow, it's really down here. Let me see. So I played all kinds of music, mostly harder rock and like metal. So let me see. Let's see if I can find this. Is this it? SoundCloud. Yeah, it's on SoundCloud.com. Let me see if I can find it. Share and listen. Yes, somebody got a recording of the band and actually put it up on SoundCloud. Wait. Gotta pause this. I don't know if you guys could hear that. Let me go back. I don't know if I have to share it for you guys to hear it. So maybe I could just play it. You know what? I'll share it and see, because that might actually work better. So screen share. So this is this guy Ralph Miller. So I don't know how he got this recording, but this is a band I played, Night by Night, Nocturnal Night, Bad Reaction, 1982. There's a little bit of echo there. All right, it's the next verse. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. This goes into the solo. Listen to the bass and the drums, you guys. It's powerful, man. So once this is the bridge into the solo. So the solo is really cool, but man, the bass and drums are they're machines, man. We didn't have click tracks and all that other crap. Here it is. Powerful, man. So I'm just going to go to the end. It's another verse. You got to hear my drum roll here. I had this little 8-inch drum. It makes that high-pitched sound. Listen. So hopefully you guys could hear that. Yeah, that was 82. So let me think. I was probably like 17. Well, no. Let me be okay. 80, 81, 82. So I was probably 18, 19 years old. I was pounding those drums. Pound those drums. Yeah. I mean, if you listen to it, you think like, man, I mean, we were definitely in competition with somebody like Quiet Riot and bands of the time. Because, I mean, I think we were just as good. The singer was probably the weakest, but he was a great guy, Dwayne Liber. And he had a lot of enthusiasm. His lyrics were really, really good, even though you couldn't really hear them because of all the echo. And I think that we had a rehearsal hall that had recording equipment in it, but it wasn't track recording, so everything wasn't isolated. So that recording is just ambient sound in the room. That's it. So you could hear the singer's echo on the drums. So that's why they have that kind of echo, like you could hear it on the cymbals and stuff like that, because it was just the sound of the room. So I think for what it was recorded pretty well, because that's just basically a rehearsal. And it's all of us playing at the same time. So that's no tracking, that's no nothing. And me and the bass player were just a machine. I mean, you could hear it. That timing was fucking on, man. Just powerful. We actually had other people when we play clubs and stuff like that. They'd come up and they'd go, we really like you guys, like both of us, the drummer, like myself, the drums and bass. And then they would go, we want you to be in our band, because we were just freaking timing machines, man. It was on. It was so on. And also just badass and powerful. That guy, oh my gosh, you'd see him he was just freaking just hammering that bass. And I was like the Tommy Lee type. So my arms went back. Like I was just swinging, just trying to hit those things as hard as I could. So there was a lot of power, but the timing was still there. So thanks for asking, Pedro. That was fun. I hope you guys, let me go see if you guys heard that. Let me know if you heard it. Kaka, did you ever shop demos at Metal Blade Records? No, we did not. We did not. Let me see. Art, I need a relationship advice. Why do bass players get no chick? Because they're just not that cool. I'll tell you right now, drummers have all the personality in the band. Drummers are way more fun. And I actually had multiple, and they're usually female editors. They say also inkers are a lot more fun to hang out with than pencilers and writers. So I think inkers are probably the drummers of comic books. Drummers usually have the bigger personalities and, dare I say, a little bit more out there, possibly in the fun department, but some might say crazy. Keith Moon comes to mind. Oh my gosh, I lost my complete place here with you guys. Okay, so we have Tatooine. Art, I just bought a copy of Cable Number 1. Oh, cool. Gold foil signed by you. Question, when it's a limited signature run for Marvel DC, do they give you extra money for signing them, or was it a contract? I'll tell you, Marvel doesn't do any of those things. So if it's signed and then has a certificate with it, it was probably Dynamite, or at the time, I think they were Dynamic Forces. So Nick Barucci, before Dynamite Publishing, there was Collectibles, and it was Dynamic Forces, and they did a lot of signed and numbered stuff. So if there was a certificate involved with that, it was probably through Dynamic Forces. Yes. Do 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 do. Now I want to play my drums. Art T Bear, do you have a fully digital workflow, or do you still work traditionally? Michael, I do a little bit of both. So I usually do my first pass at it with pencil and paper, and I usually work quite small, so like a little thumbnail. And so then what I'll do is I'll blow that up. If I like it, I'll blow it up on my printer, and then I'll light box it and tighten it up. And then what I'll do is, if I still like it, I'll scan it, I'll bring it into Photoshop, and then I'll play with the drawing in Photoshop. So proportion, composition, anything like that. Because if I'm erasing, then I have to redraw. But digitally, I can cut and paste, and I can move things around really quickly without redrawing. And so whenever you have to redraw, it takes more time. So that's kind of how I do things. And then sometimes with my inking, I'll bring that in and I'll digitally work it, like clean it up or add stuff to it digitally. So Johnny has the big question: boxers, briefs, or boxer briefs? Right now I'm going commando. So since you asked, I don't have to impress anybody, you guys. So also I'm wearing like swim trunks. So in the summertime, I kind of wear swim trunks, so I can just jump in the pool at any time. So I'm trying every day around 4 o'clock, when the studio gets too hot, I just jump in the pool. Hail Art, hey Todd, what's up? We have Wilbur Wooster, Wilberforce Wooster. So how long will it take Art to get to this question? You son of a bitch. Forever. You probably forgot you asked that question. Hell Art and chat at work, so can't stay long. Then he's got a follow up. Two of the same. Sorry about that. Bad reaction. That's the only thing I can tell when he says in that song, because there's so much echo on his voice. We actually ran that echo through a guitar Echoplex. So the guitar player, we were poor, you guys. We were poor young white guys trying to make it in the music, in the 80s music scene. And so the guitar player was nice enough to loan the singer his Echoplex. But I don't think it was the proper thing. I think that's why you heard so much damn echo. It's doubling up my chats, LOL. Hey, Art. I DM'd you on my Instagram. I'll tell you, I don't usually check my Instagram DMs, just to be honest. So I more like Facebook DMs and Twitter. So yeah, you were a blast. I think you're the one that was cacaing, and I said that pigeons actually coo. They don't caca. But anyway, yeah, Captain F-Head is my only Scottish friend who doesn't sound Scottish. Oh, he's Scottish. Okay. Yeah, because Wooly definitely sounds Scottish. Dude, those guys are a blast, man. I had so much fun. And also, I think it was only supposed to be an hour, and I think we went 2.5 hours on that show. Gunny sacks are the best underwear when they're made of burlap. No, they're not. No, they're not. That would actually chafe. That would hurt like hell. Art, Just save it for later. It was the Chrono campaign. Oh, okay. No problem, man. No problem. Do 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 do. Love. We have some love in the chat. Love Pigeon. Sup, Jimmy. DKFC Gaming. Somebody said it sounds like KFC chicken. So I'm glad somebody else said that, because every time I see your name, DKF Gaming, I always think the same thing. Okay, Blue Samurai asks, Black and White Volume 1 was good fun read. If you're new here, it's a classic and a properly told story. Thank you, man. I do appreciate it. And we got to 25K, so holy crap, man. You guys just made my day. And then some. Sheldon's going to harass me. Black shot that robot right in the junk. Okay, we're going to back up. We're going to analyze this. Sheldon, pain in my ass, pain in my side. Let's analyze this and let's see. You know what? I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this because I can't blow this up. But let's see. All right. If you guys are looking, I think it's pretty clear that bot is not getting shot in the junk. That's clearly his midsection, because that hip area, his waist, is being shot out, but that hip area is still intact. So take that, Sheldon Martin, pain in my ass. He is not getting shot in the junk. How dare you? I would never do that, not even to a killer robot. Actually, I would. Actually, Reed Blackett would. Sometimes you just gotta, take him out from the crotch up. Dead Punk says, Dead Punk Gauge says, looks amazing. Thank you. Let's see, any good info or memories from when you inked part of Armageddon 2001? That was a blurred memory, you guys. I think that was a last minute thing that I just stepped into. I believe, was it Dan Jurgens that I worked with on that? So it's always a pleasure to work with Dan. I like working with Dan because he never tells me what to do. So he always leaves it up to my imagination. So I usually do finish art over him. So he's pretty much just doing layouts, and then I get to do whatever I want with the inks. And so anytime I get to ink him is always a treat, because I can do whatever I want. It's valuable because I value the artwork. Cool. Terror Wombat. Any copies of Oodles of Doodles you want to unload? I think I have maybe 8 or 10 books left, and they all have the Batman drawing in them. So we still have to fulfill a couple of those with the Chrono campaign, I believe. So I'm going to do inventory after that. Campaign has been completely fulfilled. And then I have a designer I'm working with, you guys. Sean Ellery is he's doing the Chrono trading cards right now. He did you know what? I'll just show you his work. He is a badass mofo. So he I kind of laid it out real loose, but he did all the graphics work here for this page here. And so, I do a thumbnail and then he laid this out in Photoshop. So he's really, really good, and he's doing all the Chrono trading cards for me right now. And what I'm going to have him do is I do believe I have enough artwork for Oodles of Doodles Volume 2. So I am going to, as soon as all the Chrono stuff settles down and we're in fulfillment, and I can kind of just put that all into this other place, which is fulfillment, and that's more of my wife's responsibility, even though she still helps me out day to day. But it's kind of like, at that point, I'll still help her, but it's not my top priority, because right now I'm still trying to get things done for Chrono, and most of it's because we had help, and the help kind of stopped helping. That's the nicest way I can put it. So I'm doing most of that work now myself. So the buck always stops with whoever's running these campaigns. So the buck stops with me. So that's what I'm doing right now. So as soon as I get that done, then I'm going to start working with Sean Ellery, and then we're going to put that volume 2 campaign together. So the way I'm looking at the campaigns right now is Chrono Mechanics is in demand, and we're going to keep that in demand for a while. Black and White, the second chance, is going to end in 9 days. So we're going to do that. So that was kind of like just a quick to give you guys a second chance. And also, just like I always say, time is money. So if I can have a little bit of extra money, then that means that I can work without stress of trying to make money. So I can focus on Black and White Volume 2, which I'm hoping soon will be my main focus. So I'm really trying to clear my plate so I can start working full time on that. So right now I am working with a writer, which I will announce very, very soon. The story is coming along amazingly well. I was hoping this weekend to be able to do some layouts, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I have another obligation that I have to work on this weekend, and I'm sure that's going to be a big Comicsgate announcement at some point, but that's all I can say at this moment in time. So yeah, once that happens, then Oodles of Doodles Volume 2 will happen. And so whatever books we have left of the original Oodles 1, we will make available. But I'm going to say right now, they're going to be expensive because I've had offers for some of these books already at $90 and $100. It's crazy, you guys. I don't know if I should do a second chance, go back to print on this thing, because you guys do want this book. So I haven't thought about that until just now. But maybe, just maybe, since Volume 2 of Black and White is doing well, maybe I could go back to print on Volume 1 and then do it as like a second chance campaign, but also as a second printing. So maybe do a different cover on it or some slight variation. So it will, so the collectability of the original Volume 1 will stay intact, and the value of that will stay up. Because, like I said, $90 and $100 for that book is pretty crazy. So, and I have sold some at that price. So that's something for me to think about. There's so many things, you guys, and there's only so many hours in the day. So I hope I answered that question. Yeah, I wish I had more of a good story for that Armageddon 2001, but I don't really remember too much about it. A lot of my career is, like I say, just keeping your head down, focusing on what's in front of you, and getting work done. I'm actually enjoying my life a lot more these days because I get to hang out with you guys and actually pick my head up, talk, hang out. If you saw me in the early days of Comicsgate, I was pretty much just a shut-in. So I'm coming out of my shell and I'm learning how to live again. Life after monthly comics at Marvel and DC. Maybe I should do a whole stream on that. So we have the great Adam Post. Adam and I joke about doing a stream together, which would be the Art Adams show. And so we should still try to figure out doing something like that. So ask me anything. So maybe we'll do an Ask Adam or Art Adams anything. That'll be our show. So the possibilities are endless. Yeah, the possibilities with Comicsgate and doing these books is endless. The new Circle sticker, its own add-on? Would you guys want this to be an add-on? I could. So I just want to show you. I think this still is a little bigger than our stickers will be. So I think ours are 3.5 all the way around, but I think this is probably like 4+ inches. So this inspired me to do the black and white oversized sticker. Oops. The tape is on my proofs here. Don't rip. Okay, cool. Okay, so I also wanted to show you this. So let me take this away. These are the proofs for the trading cards. So once again, just to show you, proof is in the proof. The black and white trading cards over here are being printed up as we speak. So these are the fronts and backs. And so the one right next to this one is for the pre-launch signups. So anybody who signed up for the pre-launch and then back to tier will get that great Zach Bradley trading card. So these are being printed. The chrono cards, these chrono cards, I should say, are all being printed up as well. So these are, this one right here is the special card. Oh, these two on the top are the special cards. And then there's Doug, and those are all like the superstar trading cards. So Doug, Oot, Caravaggio, and Zinn are the superstar trading cards done by all the superstar talent. You know, Aaron Lepresti, Tom Bancroft, Sean Cheeks Galloway, and Carlo Barberi. So let me see. Did I show all of them? No, that's... I have another one. Oh, here it is. So this is... there's my layouts. The wind, my fan's going to blow them everywhere. So then here are the last two. So this is Oot and Zinn. So there's the back. So on the back of the cards, I give the artist like full credit. So there's like Oot by Sean Galloway, Zinn. So these will come, these cards will come with the variant cover collection. So those cards come with that. And they also come with the Ultimate Chrono collection. So you'll get those cards plus some more. Actually, no, those I am very, very sorry. These are still stretch goals. You know what? I'm going to go, just to refresh my memory, I'm going to go to the Chrono campaign. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm actually speaking. I'm not speaking correctly. Too much to keep track of. So, yeah, the superstar cards are stretch goals. So there's the superstar covers. So there's the poster collection with mini prints. So yeah. So that one card that I said was the special card, that's that one right there. Then the other one is the pre-launch card, and I'll come back and I'll show you those, the pre-launch card. And so then these four cards are the superstar collection. So those were stretch goals. So then there's 10 other cards. Wow, you guys, there's 10 other cards, and those are the ones that Sean Ellery just reworked and put those together, and those are going to the printer today. So we're going to ship those out to the printer. So we had a little bit of a setback there. So yeah, and let me just go over the campaign since I'm here. So here's Carlo Barberi's variant cover of Caravaggio. Here's Aaron Lepresti's Zinn. Here's Tom Bancroft's Doug. I love this piece. And also Sean Ellery did the coloring for this. So Sean is a brilliant colorist as well. And then this is Cheeks Galloway. And then this is an add-on, you guys. Get on this. I'm going to show a little bit of the Chrono work in progress. So the work in progress is going to have a lot of these mystery sketch pieces of artwork in them. So you guys can buy development art for either the animation or just the first drawings ever of these characters, and you can get artwork from the development of the comic book. So there's three different types of artwork here that went into different phases. Some of it's animation, some of it's comic book, and some of it was just the first design work for the IP, for the characters, for the world. So these are turnarounds, animation. This was just for fun. This Doug as Slash from Guns N' Roses. So those are examples of the work in progress sketchbook. So the sketchbook is going to open up like a calendar or a centerfold. And I'll show you some of the interior pages after I share the campaign with you. So we have interior pages here, colored by the great Perea Perai, who did the color work for Black and White as well. So you can see the guy's got some chops here. He's got some range. So once again, Chrono is at the printers right now. I'm not going to tell you guys anymore of when we're going to get these books back, because I'm starting to sound like I'm not telling the truth, because this book has had series of setbacks, and I guess I should start trying to figure in these setbacks into my scheduling. So yeah, those are the interiors. We have some original artwork, you guys, as well. So the artwork sells pretty quick. We have a new piece here, which is page number 12. And then we have the ultimate tier. Like I said, the ultimate tier comes with all the books, the prints, and it comes with the 10 trading card set. So if you're completionist, this is the only place you can get all 10 of the cards. So 4 cards are only available with this set. So cards come with all of the other tiers, but only 1 card per book. So here's the variant cover collection. So there's 4 cards in that one. So if you buy 2 of each, then you get 2 cards with each one of the books. With the Bring on the poster, sadly, they do not come with trading cards. The main book comes with the main trading card, which is the mechanic card. Excuse me. The mystery sketch is an add-on. 32 claimed, you guys. This is a great add-on. You can get original artwork, no additional shipping, and it's only $20. And then we have the featured, which is the book plus work in progress. So we have 188 of those claimed. So I would like to get the numbers up on that so we can get the print run higher. And when we can get the print run higher, then we can minimize costs, which definitely helps. And then the main cover is colored by Sean Ellery as well, who is becoming a major asset on this Chrono campaign. He's like the pinch hitter that comes in, at the 12th hour and just keeps hitting grand slams. So thank you so much, Sean, for all your help there. So also, you guys, make sure you click on these little cogs, because there's a lot of fun here. So come by, read those. And let me, since I'm sharing, I think I can do this. I can then go right to the work in progress stuff, which hopefully you guys can see this now. Let me check. Can you see this? It hasn't shifted over yet. So I don't know if I have to click out and then back in. I don't see it yet. So sometimes there's a little bit of delay on StreamYard. So I'm going to give it another second, and then I'll stop sharing, and then I'll come back. Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing just to make sure that I'm doing this right. Okay, so let me check real quick, and then I'll show you guys some other work in progress pages that I'm putting together. We have Kami Mark, which is also one of my new favorite guys to hang out with. He's definitely got a off-kilter sense of humor, but it's definitely in line with my own humor. So I do get along and appreciate this communist. He's the only communist that I can actually say that I like. I have a question for you, Art T. Bear. Did you see I launched my Golden Age comic mailing list for not Daredevil or Daredevil? Daredevil. No, I did not. I have no idea what you're talking about. Daredevil. Do not know. So if that's legit, then let me know and I'll give it a shout out. Unhinged says, having a full-time job makes a page a day difficult. Tell me about it. I try to get in as much as possible in what time I have left. That is the age-old wearing many hats. Like I'm doing that now, with streaming and then trying to find time to draw and, all the other stuff. Are you guys talking about Todd McFarlane? I don't know which Todd you're talking about. So McFarlane is a little bit more of a businessman these days. Do, 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 do. I think they are. I think when they're well done, they are. I think comic books of the past were more uh, mythology than now. Do, do, do. Love art, straight talk. Thank you, Adam. I do appreciate that. Mighty Joe says, "Hail art, hail chat." Time might be a factor, and then Adam says, "Time is always a factor." I'm telling you right now, some people like wish for money, people wish for fame, wish for all these things. Um, I'm like, I wish for more time. Like being rich, I don't even aspire to. I think it would be nice, but if I was rich, I would do exactly the same thing I'm doing now. I would just do it times a billion. You know what I mean? I would just do more of it. Oh, thank you, man. I do appreciate that. That would be amazing. Uh, I don't see it happening, but that would be awesome. We might could do that with Black and White Volume 2, because that will be up for a longer period of time. But yeah, truer words were never spoken, Adam Post. Time is always a factor. Doing comics is my life. It's mine as well. It's been my life, my whole adult life. Thank you. My pleasure, Chris. Good luck with everything. And don't get discouraged. If you have a good love for comics and drawing, uh, it will help a lot. It will help out a lot. Living the dream. Thank you all, the amazing supporters. Yeah, I mean, Comicsgate that's what we do, man. That's what we do. And it's sky's the limits, man. Art Love, the long explanation mentor for the artist. That was great. uh, yeah. You know what? I'm also a fan of long form radio. I miss old talk shows because they used to get into long form interviews where people could be more off the cuff. Now everything's soundbite, like quick in and out. I think people's attention spans are limiting because they just don't have the patience for stuff. And I know I sound like an old man, but I do think you can get it more substance. You can get into more substance with long form radio. I like Adam Carolla. Adam gets into more long form, so he's kind of bringing it back. Even in the day, when Stern was right on, that was more long form, interviews and radio. Everything now is very quick, clipped, soundbitey. Yeah, I don't care for that. But getting old is great. I think getting old is good in the sense that, but I do look back and I think like, holy shit, if I knew what I know now, then I know that's the cliche. But the cliche for me is I wouldn't go, oh, I wish I would have asked that girl out or anything. I don't have those regrets. I just, my one regret is like, I actually cared way too much of what other people thought of me and what I did for a living. And I don't care anymore. And it's absolutely liberating. So that's the best part for me, getting old. And I don't feel old. And I still think I'm doing the work of my career, because one thing that I look back and I think that it's almost fortuitous is I didn't do a lot of writing and penciling. I had opportunity to do a lot more of it, but I didn't because my heart wasn't in it. So I do feel like that was kind of the tip of the iceberg, things that I did in the past. So you can kind of get an idea of what I was capable of, but not really like where I burnt people out. Like there was just a saturation of it. So I do feel now it almost feels like, oh, we didn't know you could do that. We didn't know you could write comic books. We didn't know you could draw comic books. We always thought of you as an inker. Well, I worked as an inker penciler all my career. I broke in as a penciler and an inker on exactly the same day. I worked as an inker for Marvel, and then I worked as a penciler for DC. So at DC, I think I have my first 3 years logged in as a penciler exclusively. I didn't do much inking at all. So I do have that as part of my history. But I do feel like it's just kind of people didn't really. It's what one, it was a long time ago, and two, the body of my work is all inking. So I do feel like that I have a lot more to offer the industry, and I still have a voice, a relevant voice, things that I haven't even tapped into, like chronomechanics or black and white, to share with everybody. So I still feel young. I still feel like I have a lot to say, and I have a lot to do in this industry, a lot to still contribute. And I think that I'm going to contribute more through Comics Geek than I did with Marvel and DC, because to be honest, the last decade or so, I stopped sharing. I stopped sharing my ideas. I stopped trying to innovate. I stopped trying to bring anything new to the table because one, I wasn't getting paid to do it, and it didn't feel like I was being respected. So it feels like, you kind of get beat up. The industry kind of beats you up to a certain extent, and then you feel like you contributed a lot, but that other people kind of took it and ran with it. Case in point, even something like the way I inked Art Adams, when J. Scott Campbell told me that he used that as a template when he developed his style, that kind of bloopy stuff. Well, I kind of benefited from it, but not the way, but also he never said it publicly. He said it to me personally, which meant something. So I didn't get any long term out of it. So he's got a style now that he gets to make money off of, but that I'm still kind of stuck with, like this. Oh, you did this thing, this moment in time. You had this moment in time and you inspired it. And I think that's great. I love doing that, but it doesn't really amount to any real success, because the penciler can kind of claim that. Like if I did something like I did a lot of stuff over Chris Bocello, and at the time Chris is like, yeah, this is great, but then he starts penciling his pencils like the way I ink them, and then the next inker gets to ink it that way. So then it becomes part of Chris's vocabulary. It becomes part of his style. You know what I mean? I contributed, but then he gets to move on with it. And then if I do it, I might not have the opportunity to continue to do it because the style of the next artist might not fit. You know what I mean? So then I have to kind of innovate again. So that's what I would always do. I would try to do anyway, sometimes more successful than others. But, after years of that and getting some praise, but not overall, people that pay attention, like fans that pay attention, go, what you did over Carlos Pacheco was like no other. I never saw him look that way before. And that makes me feel good. But by and large, you don't really hear that. You hear Carlos Pacheco is a brilliant penciler and storyteller. You know what I mean? So after so many years, it not that I'm jaded and not that I'm beat up, because I'm not. This industry treated me very well, and I'm very thankful. But it does kind of, at some point, you think, maybe I can hold these things back. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't share them anymore. And not for any like anger or any kind of mistreatment, but more or less for that I could use them for my own. You know what I mean? Like I could express myself the way I want to, and I can tell stories the way I want to, and I can draw and ink the way I want to. So that's kind of chronomechanics. Chronomechanics is an exercise in trying to do stylistically something different. Black and white is a little bit more mainstream, but I tried to bring in more of a cartoony angle to it as well. So I do play with styles, and I do try to do things differently every time. And in this creative arena that I'm in now, I feel like I can do it, and then I can benefit 100% from it. I can benefit 100% from it as far as doing well financially and getting support, or I could fall flat on my face. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a lot of times it can be all or nothing. But at this point in time, I'm willing to do it. So art is so metal. Yes, hail metal. Yeah, I dug it as a kid, man. It was great. Hail boss, chorus pedal, and with distortion. Yeah, somebody knows their shit. Okay, well, I'm going to. Wait, I gotta answer this. art double bass always, or are you okay with a single and a slave pedal? Okay, it's really funny because, like I said, I was really poor at the time. So I worked my ass off and I got a cheap, like kind of knockoff Ludwig kit from a pawn shop. So that was my first drum kit. And it was metal flake blue. It was god awful. It was god awful. I had like Ringo Starr hardware. So if you guys watch those old, like, Beatles videos, like Ringo's smacking these drums and his cymbals, the stands, everything's moving all over because the hardware was just really flimsy. And so that was my first kit. So I traded that in for a orange Vistalite Ludwig kit. And you guys might not know this kit by name, but you'll know it when I say this. This was the John Bonham orange clear Vistalite Ludwig kit that's iconic. Like, that's the drum kit. And so I saw that in a pawn shop window and I went, holy shit, I gotta have that thing. So I saved up, I traded in my old kit for a down payment, and I bought that thing and I made payments every month for like a year or whatever it was. And I got the kit and I took so like crazy good care of that thing. And so I played the shit out of that thing, but then times were kind of changing. So, early, like mid 70s when I started playing, and now we're getting into the 80s, like the bigger kits were coming into fashion because that was a single bass. It was a 5-piece kit. The toms were relatively small. And so, I'd go to the clubs and you see Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee didn't have any money in the days either, but he had a big kit. So his kits were like mix match. Like he would go pawn shop. So all of his drums, like when I used to see him at the Whiskey, they didn't match. They were all but they were all oversized. They were big. So he had a really big sound and he always had that double kick. So things started going more into like the double kick. And also when I first started playing, we were like, it was more hard rock, more like Zeppelin or AC/DC. I still think of like just hard rock. I don't think of them as metal. But things were starting to go more into metal. And then, I kind of was into some of the hair metal, but I didn't think of it as hair metal at the time. But I wasn't that down with the glam stuff, although some of the people I played with were. But times are changing, just to get to the point, and the drum kits were getting bigger. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money for kits. There were times, you guys, that I got turned down from drum jobs. Everybody says, diversity and all these other things and people getting canceled and all this shit. There were bands, like great bands, that would pass on me, not because of talent, but because I just didn't have the look. I didn't have the equipment. So equipment meant a lot. So if you were going to play, you had to have the equipment. So I just couldn't afford it. So I kept playing with my, John Bonham, Ludwig Vistalite kit. And that thing's loud. It's plastic. It's not wood. So when I went into studio, you knew that thing, it was unruly. So live gigs, it was great because it was loud. But in the studio, it was a bitch because I had to pad everything down. They had to isolate me in booths and stuff like that because the sound just radiates everywhere. And it's really hard to mic those kits up in a good way. So anyways, once again, I'm going off on a tangent. I just couldn't afford the big kit. So, oh my gosh, I wish I could share, because I could move my camera into the other room, but I don't think the cord is long enough. Now I have a huge Tommy Lee kit. These are oversized bass drums. Like I think they're 26 inch, I think. They might even be bigger. I don't know. It's been a long time since I actually cared about that stuff. And I don't retain most of that knowledge anyway. So they're really big. So I have the double bass. I have the big rack mount, cymbal setup. So I have my Chinas, my two Chinas, on the side. I have all my cymbals. They're all rack mount. And I have floor tom, but they're all oversized. I have my two toms and my floor tom are oversized, and my snare is a little deeper. And I have two snares. I have the one that came with the kit, and then I have my old reliable, which is a metal snare drum. And I think I got that from Alex Van Halen, because he's got like a deeper metal snare drum, and that cuts through all the bullshit, man. That snare drum is loud, and it has a pretty unique sound. So I use that sometimes. So to answer your question, I do have a double bass kit now. I think if I was gigging, a lot of these clubs and these double bass players, they do use the slave pedal. So that what a slave pedal is, it's a double bass on one bass drum. But the problem with that, I think, is that you don't get the good sound because the pedal doesn't hit the middle of the head. It hits the sides of the heads. So I don't think you get as good of sound as you do with a single pedal. I used to have a wooden beater on my my bass drum. That's the drum that you hit with your foot, and just to make that bass drum louder, because I had that Vistalite Ludwig kit like John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, but it's also it was loud, but the bass drum was smaller, so I could maximize the sound and try to compete with some of these bigger bass drums when we would play shows with that wooden beater, and it did work. That thing was monstrous sounding. So, but the only downfall is that thing wears out drum heads, and bass drum heads are expensive. So I would break drum heads all the time. What's the heaviest band I ever listened to? I don't know. You guys, I like more melodic stuff. So a lot of that death metal stuff I listen to, but I'm not real familiar with. So I don't know, maybe Pantera. I know that's not even considered that heavy. But that's the only band I can really think of. I remember in the day, like Iron Maiden was just blew me away. That stuff seemed pretty out there at the time. The good old days. Okay, well, I said I would share something, and I couldn't go to it, so let me see if I can do it now. Share, screen share, boom, boom. So this is the work in progress book, you guys. This is the Chrono Mechanics work in progress. Let me check. Yes, it's there this time. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a quick preview. So these are some of the interior pages. So if you don't know the theme of the work in progress book, I have Eugene, who is the elucidator. He works for Chrono Incorporated, and he is the computer system, basically. He's the data banks or the database for the company. So he keeps track of all the employees, all time and timelines. And so he's going to narrate the art book. So I thought it would be fun to have the authority on Chrono Mechanics actually narrate the art book. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So let me see if I can do this and show you. This is going to be very crude, but like there's going to be word balloons, here, and they're gonna look like the word balloons, the design from the comic book. So if you see like areas like this in the book, that's because there's going to be word balloons. So here's, like I told you guys, there's going to be stuff from all over the place. So this is like the evolution of the chronomites, and chronomites are basically tech eaters. They're technivores. So think of them as piranhas out in the time stream. So they eat time ships and any technologies that come into their turf. So we have like a nicer version. We have like the really mean, nasty version, which, like I said, when I was drawing these initially, I spent time with it. So this is all like side of pencil stuff. So I kind of inked the structure, and then I came in with a pencil. I thought this thing scanned up really well. So I like this kind of more angrier chronomite. So the idea here is that they kind of latch on with those extra arms. So the claws go into the ship, and then they have wings so they can fly. And then they just, with those big mouths, they just start digging into the ship. So they just eat it like a piranha. And then another thing is the tail. The tail here is like a suction cup. So that helps them to kind of adhere to the ship. So when the ship's flying and moving, at like, I don't know, breaking, I guess flying at the speed of sound time. I don't know. I don't know how fast these ships are flying in the time stream, but it's fairly immediate. So they're moving quite fast to go through time. So these things actually need to have some kind of ability to hold on to these ships. So that's what those claws and the suction cups are. So you can see some early turnarounds. So the initial idea was these chronomites. They almost looked more like what is the Ghostbusters Slimer? So they kind of look like Slimer. So here is kind of a nicer version of a chronomite. So you can see he's eating a pocket watch. So this is still the Slimer face. So this is like a really more animation style than it is comic book style. So you can kind of see how I was progressing from these different ideas. So that's kind of the chronomite. And then, so here's Doug. I did this one last night, just before bed. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time to do this stuff, but I try to get as much as I can in. So I thought this page came out really good. So some of this stuff is before Doug became a rock star. So Doug's early origins were, he was just a 20th century slacker. So he was just like a metal fan. Like he just liked heavy metal and hard rock from the 70s. So he's got an Iron Maiden t-shirt on. So he's just kind of a loser. He lived in a trailer park. Not that people that live in trailer parks are losers, but it's kind of a shorthand way of saying that you're not doing so well. And also, it was a trailer park out in the middle of the desert. So that equates not doing so well. So then it kind of went to this guy that was a little more 80s. He had a headband on. He was a little bit more, kind of, I guess, glam, kind of with the mullet. He always had a mullet, but this is more the spiky mullet with the dangly 80s earring, kind of thing, and the sleeves cut off. So he was, that's the one in the circle. And then the other two are just, I loved it. I loved having time just to draw. And so after I was fired from Marvel, I just kind of took 2 years off and I just drew and created things for myself. And so the Ted Nugent, Yank Me, Crank Me pencils came out of that. The Guns N' Roses slash, Doug drawing came out of that. So I did these things just for fun. And I still love them. I wish I could do more stuff just for fun, just for myself, and try different approaches. So this slash, this is all just brush and a Sharpie. So I did this with a brush and Sharpie. And if you look, I tried to make sure that the scans could reflect that. So you can see like this hair, it's a little more gray tone. And that's because it's marker, it's Sharpie. And then the stuff that's more over here is more like solid black because that's a brush. And then all of this this cross hatching in the background, I went back to a Sharpie on that. So it was a lot of fun. And then I'm real happy with the way the Ted Nugent scanned as well. So I didn't want to do them in complete grayscale because I don't think they would compete as well with the ink stuff. So I have seen sketchbooks that are just complete grayscale, but they don't hold up with the color and some of the ink stuff. So this is a little darker, the Ted Nugent drawing. And then if you didn't know it was Ted Nugent, I kept the little caption I wrote, "Yank me, crank me, but don't you thank me," or "Wake me to thank me," or something like that. Yeah, Ted was kind of crude. So here's those animation turnarounds. So you can see this is starting to look more like the comic book versions of the characters. So once again, this is Eugene. So there'll be like there'll be word balloons in here. Kind of thing that will come down, And so that will fill these spots up. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun, you guys. I'm really looking forward to this. So this is now my passion project. This is what I'm working on now. So also like this this cog with Eugene in it. That was designed by Sean Ellery. So Sean stepped it up and gave me some cool designs, and also the page, the outline of the page itself is Sean Ellery. So this is the last one I want to show you. I'm really happy with the way this came out, and this was also at that time where I got to play with more things. So money equates time, which equates having fun drawing. So this is Oot. This is still kind of an alternate version. So this isn't quite the version in the comic book. The comic book is obviously more simplified, and he doesn't quite have as much hair all over the place. So I did a more simplified cartoon version of the hair. And so this is a little bit more realistic a version, but this is all watercolor and then kind of painted in, the figures painted in a little bit more. So this was a lot of fun, and this was stuff that I got to do when I had a little bit of time. So once again, this is Eugene, and we'll do like we'll do some word balloons, you know, here, and then probably have a tail that carries over, and so you'll have some more word balloons in here. So it'll look something like that. So I broke the panel here just to have some fun. So Sean did a couple different versions of Eugene, so I can it's the same drawing basically, but different versions of it. Some are full figure, some are in those cogs, some are not. So there's a lot of fun. So there's still time, you guys, to back that work in progress tier, which is a lot of fun, and it gives you a really cool behind the scenes look at not just developing the comic book, but some of the animation stuff as well. There's turnarounds. There's all kinds of different stuff. There's going to be some cover layouts that I'm going to get into next. And each one of the characters, each one of the cast will have at least some variation of their character. So there'll be some work in progress stuff with the Foreman and Skippy and some of the other characters as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Eric Weathers, you and I got to do a stream at some point again. I miss you, my friend. And if you guys haven't checked out, go check. You know what I'm going to do? I got to start doing this. I'm going to share his campaign real quick, because one of the things I do want to start giving back to my brethren at Comicsgate is sharing their campaign, not just talking about them, but actually going there and sharing the campaign. So bear with me, you guys. I'm trying to find the tab to share Eric Weathers' Battle Brick Road. So let's do this real quick. Let's give a shout out to Mr. Weathers. So you should be seeing the Battle Brick Road Indiegogo page. So Eric Weathers right now is at 62,325, over 1,000 backers, you guys. 1,000 backers for anybody that's doing these projects is the perfect number. You can actually start doing well. I mean, really not like overly well, but this is like the good spot, you know, to get into. 1,000, like 900 to 1,000 backers is like the great spot to be in, because if you can hold 900 to 1,000 backers and you can bring those to your new campaigns, you know, every one of your campaigns after that, then that's a really good place to be in to do these independent projects. So we have Battle Brick Road. Look at this artwork. Look at this cover. This is Operation Zephyr. Eric is working with a writing partner as well and a colorist, and these colors look really amazing. I think he's getting the color work done right now. We have a Kenneth Racafort variant cover, and welcome to Comicsgate, Kenneth. I've been a big fan of yours for a long time, and Kenneth and I have been kind of hanging out behind the scenes before he actually made this plunge. So he's been supporting me also on my YouTube channel. So thank you, Kenneth, if you're listening right now, for all the support. I do appreciate it, and this cover is amazing. The character designs too, Eric, with the Scarecrow. I think you really hit this sweet spot as far as design. So I think he's shooting all this stuff from pencils and then coloring right off his pencils. So Eric does tech really well. All his vehicles, his guns, everything. His storytelling is pretty amazing as well. Use of shots. Oh, he's put a bunch of new pages. I haven't seen these. So I think this orb, we have an orb in Chrono as well. I think that's Toto. I think he uses the orb kind of the same way we use our orbs in Chrono Mechanics, where they're kind of an extension of Eugene. So they're the computer data bank for Chrono Incorporated. So they're kind of a portable data bank that the mechanics can use and carry around with them. And I believe this is the Tin Man. So this Tin Man design is really cool as well. Very, very cool. I think this was a double page. He showed it off on a live stream. This image doesn't do it justice because that thing is massive. So there's the design I'm talking about. Very, very cool, my friend. You managed to hit, if you can do these IPs and you can kind of hit on these designs that just resonate with people, that they're almost iconic in inception, and that's what you did. So here's our lead character. She knows how to take care of herself. Here's our cast of characters. So this looks really, really good. You guys have unlocked a lot of stretch goals. Look at all these stretch goals that have been unlocked. The last one was 50K, I think, 8 pages, Toto Ashcan by 6 a.m. Comics. Very cool. So the next one is to be announced at that 75K. So I believe you need to announce this fairly soon. So you guys come by. There's a bunch of tiers here. It's a lot of fun. It's a great concept. It's a great idea. Eric is a good guy. He'll deliver the book. And because I think like he did a book previously, and I'm pretty sure that he fulfilled it. I think that's all done now. So let me go back. I'm going back to the stream. Kaka, Eric Weathers. We have we have some more Comicsgate celebrities in the chat. I knew if I hung out long enough, Donald DeLay would show up. Yeah, it'll choke the head as well. Yeah, it'll wear it out. Man, a lot of you guys are musicians. If you ever go to any death metal bands live, the guys with the double bass always have a fuller sound than the single double. Yeah. You know what? I don't know if this is old school, but I like melodic metal. I like things that have a little bit of melody to them, and I don't like. It's weird because rap rock didn't really have melody, and I remember telling my friends, my musician friends, like there was Limp Bizkit and there was Papa Roach and those type of bands, and I said, as soon as somebody brings melody to this rap rock format, this way of playing music, I said they're going to clean up. I said because there's a lot of raw power and there's a lot to say about what they're doing, but there's no melody. And I know that makes me sound like you're an old guy. But Linkin Park came out, they put melody to that rap rock and they clean the hell up. So I rest my case, you guys. I'm always slightly ahead of the time, but just like a couple minutes ahead of my time. So yeah, I do agree, and I do like the sound that a lot of those death metal bands have. I like the guitar sounds. I like the power. I like the bass. I like the music. I think it's just the singing I don't care for. Oh my gosh, I got something in my eye. The singing. I like screaming. I like yelling. I like all the rah 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 rah. But I just don't like it for 2 minutes. It's too much. It's too much for me. Pantera is one of my musical favorite bands. yeah, and I think they were very, very influential to a lot of newer bands as well. Afternoon, hey brother. So I'm going to start wrapping this up pretty soon, but I'm going to get. Oh yeah, well here's one of the celebs. We got Donald DeLay. Like I said, I knew if I went long enough, Donald would show up. So hey brother, how are you? I hope everything's going good for you. I want to see all the Art T Bert's ideas, all the ideas. Eventually, if I can stay in this arena and I can get the support, you will see them. You will definitely see them because I am aspiring to do that at some point. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And you guys, I know I always tease that there's a few people in the waiting, but ever since I went CG, there are some people that they message me and they support me privately. So there's more to follow. Yeah, I guess Eric Weathers is okay. Yeah, he's okay. He's an okay guy. Let me see. Let me catch up and see. We have sketch therapy. Let's see what he says. Pantera is my scream max. I don't go past after that. They're just screaming at me. Well, thank you. Yeah. That's why I think I liked like the rap rock, because the whole song wasn't necessarily rap, and it wasn't all like rah rah rah. Like there was variation. So I think I like my 2-minute metal song, 2-3 minute metal song to have some variation to it, because maybe it's just me. Maybe I get bored quickly. But if there isn't some kind of dynamics at play, or a melody that you can latch onto, that you can hold on to. For me personally, I can't appreciate it. I just kind of tune it out. So if something is like, it's too consistent, like, and it's just like 2 minutes of that. I like it for about like a half a minute. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's powerful. But then after that, there's no real clever. There's no bridge to it. There's no melody. There's no variations to it. And I think that's my problem with it, because I like the screaming. I like the shredding. I like the drum playing in death metal. It's, oh my God, like those guys are psychos. You know what I mean? Like you would have to have the stamina. Like those guys, I don't think they're going to have very long careers, because they're just going to burn out. Because that is crazy stamina. I heard a drummer, I think it was Terry Bozzio, said you can only drum as fast as your heartbeat. So, and it's all stamina. So the thing is, when you drum, it's not just repeating a phrase. So like a drum line is a phrase, like a guitar lick is a phrase. So like 4 beats, that's your measure musically. So it's not a matter of just doing it once. It's a matter of repeating those phrases, those musical phrases. So I remember there's a friend of mine. I know I'm going off on a tangent musically, but I love music. I have hold on, I have an image here. So I was really, really fortunate to hang out with Avenged Sevenfold in the early days. There's a lot of reflection on the glass. But this is Sinister Gates and the Rev. Jimmy Sullivan, James Sullivan, and these guys. And our daughters went to the same school. Like, well, not the band, but the dad. And his name's Brian Hayner too. And so I remember seeing those guys rehearse and going to the shows and seeing Jimmy play. And Jimmy's definitely like, those guys are big Pantera, like Avenged Sevenfold, Dimebag and all that stuff. And so I watched Jimmy play, and he's kind of like, for me, he's the mixture of all these things. So he's definitely taken from some of this like more death metal stuff. Like he can do all that double bass stuff, but it also goes very melodic. So there's like you could sing along to it, I guess. And there's variations to what he does with the drums. And so I remember telling Brian Hayner, because he's looking at, he's like, look at what Jimmy can do. And I'm like, it's crazy. It's crazy, crazy stuff. And so then I remember, like, being inspired and going to my drum kit and trying to work some of that stuff out. And then coming back, and then Brian's like, so, how's it going? Because he knew I was trying to work some of those things out on the drums myself. And I said, I can do just about all of them. And this is going to harken back to what I was saying about the phrasing and stuff like that. I can do just about all those drum licks, but I can't do them for 2 minutes. Like, I can't repeat these phrases. Like, I can't keep those things consistent. And that's the sign of a good drummer. And so either I realize that this modern drumming isn't really for me, or that I'm just getting old. Because, man, I'll tell you, it takes a lot of stamina. So it's like what Terry Bozzio said. It's not just a matter of doing the phrase once. It's a matter of being able to repeat the phrase throughout, like, a 2-minute song. So whatever you write as your drum music for the song, you have to make sure that you can repeat it. And then also, if you do a set, you have to, that's another thing, it's stamina. There are certain songs when I play live, I couldn't play back to back. You just couldn't play them back to back, because you would die. You would just die, because physically it's too much. So when we would put our sets together, there'd always be songs that the guitar player couldn't play back to back. The bass player, the singer couldn't sing back to back, and I couldn't play back to back with the drums. So we would always, when we put these sets together, we would always have to figure out what our limitations were live, because there are limitations to what you can do physically. So I know I'm going all on these musical tangents here, but Waylon Jennings is true. Yeah. Go off. Bozzio. Yeah. Yeah, I could listen to that guy talk about drums all day. Like, he is definitely, I think recently he's a little too artsy fartsy for me with some of the stuff, but I still do listen to him from time to time. I'm a symphonics metal fan myself. Metal with backing orchestra and chorus is just awesome to me. Holy shit. God, Kevin, we got to hang out. We're like brothers from another mother. All of our likes and dislikes. Yeah, like, remember when Metallica did, like, stuff with an orchestra? I'll tell you, there is definitely, like, chamber music and metal. There's like, they just go together. And when people just, I remember some guy, he was discounting metal and shredding, like guitar shredding, and he was like, they're just what is it called? They're just scales. They're just scales played really fast. And it's like, what do you think, like, Mozart and all that stuff is? Those are scales. It's the same damn thing, man. Like these guys are pulling from, like basically orchestrated music. And they're just putting it to, like, a really harder tempo. And I think it's badass. And it's amazing how well they actually do work together. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things too. What is that Trans-Siberian Orchestra? And it's kind of like these Christmas classics. They usually do Christmas songs, and not all of it I like. I don't like the stuff that they have lyrics and they have singers, but some of those songs, it's definitely a symphonic orchestra, and then they have, like, a shredder, like a guitar player, and then they have drums and bass. And so, holy crap, man, you realize, like, a guitar can basically do what a symphonic orchestra can do. And I love that stuff. I just love it. I'm going to have to get off soon. But you guys are actually just so much fun to hang out with. I do listen to Blind Guardian. I do listen to Blind Guardian. I love that stuff. That stuff's nuts. It's like Dio on steroids. What's the other one? Um, they do like they sing about war. Like all their songs are all like war oriented. My daughter of all people turned me on to those guys. What the hell? I'm horrible with names. Oh, Megadeth is one of my favorites. Also, I like Megadeth and I like Metallica for two different reasons. And sometimes I think if Dave Mustaine could have stayed in that band, um, I think I don't think it. I think having hindsight, those two guys couldn't get along anyway. They're just too alpha in the same band. But you could have had like a Lennon McCartney for metal if you had those two guys in in that band in Metallica. I think it would have been amazing. It's like I often think like if you had Nirvana and Dave Grohl could have actually showed his colors in that band, then you would have two like amazing songwriters and musicians in the same band. And I think that's lacking in a lot of bands today is you usually have like one key guy that does all the music. So the Beatles were like basically three guys that really contributed, and then you had four voices. So even like the reason, I don't know, Queen followed in that like Beatles template where they had four voices. They had four voices and they had four contributing writers on equal levels. Like even the bass player, he didn't write a lot, but he wrote like hits, like mega hits. So yeah, I often think like Dave Mustaine kind of had like he had a sense of humor, he had a tongue-in-cheek kind of attitude, and then Metallica were very serious with their approach. So I think sometimes like if you could have combined that into like where Dave Mustaine could be respected in the band, and so could I'm blanking on the main writer in Metallica, his name. But if you could combine that, I think that would have been amazing. It could have been like the Lennon McCartney of metal. Yeah, he did. But personally, I supported him, and I still feel very strong about being paid for what you do. And I know that there's a shift in the way we market and sell things, and I'm trying to make my peace with it. But it's there still is that part that I want to basically get paid for what I draw. D Geek Art, Dream Theater. Yeah, actually, even Avenged Sevenfold is kind of like they're kind of equal parts Pantera meets Dream Theater. Their influences are all over the place. I think that's why I like that band too. I think at times they suffer from a little bit of an identity crisis, and they're going to have to figure that out soon because I think they're falling apart musically. There it is, James and Lars. Yeah. Yeah, and you can like if you listen to a lot of Beatles songs too, you can figure out even within like a Lennon McCartney kind of collaboration, you can see their different personalities and what they bring to the songs. And I do think collaboration, especially when you have like really talented people, Petrucci, yeah, he's a great player. The only thing I have a problem with Dream Theater is like the singer is really good, but it's a little too perfect for me. I like voices that have a little bit more personality to them. He's a really good singer. I like a lot of his lyrics, like he pulls from sci-fi novels and different things. So I do like his lyrics, but man, like his voice kind of gets on my nerves after a while. Um, it's a little too perfect pitch. It's a little too high at times too. Um, yeah, possibly, but there's some hits, and there's some behind the scenes stuff, like just the lyrically and the way they all harmonize and stuff that I think is probably orchestrated by Roger Taylor. I think if you took Taylor out of the equation, you'd have a completely different band. So I'm not really sure if, like, maybe he is the weaker, just as far as like he doesn't have like big hits like the bass player does. But I do think there's a lot of just sound, especially with the harmonies, that wouldn't exist without him. Yeah, Maudlin. Yeah, yeah. There's something about that guy's voice. It's weird because it's not like a tangible thing. It's not something that I can go, it's this. It's just that overall, I think maybe it's because like I was saying, like there's a consistency, but it's all like consistent in a way that I don't really care for. He'll go higher or he'll go lower, but it's still that same tone that I don't care for. There's a band called Coheed and Cambria, and I like that band musically. I think those guys are really, really good. But the singer kind of is the same thing for me. Like there are songs that I like where it's a little bit like he's going lower in the range, but in his singing range. But it's a little too high pitched for me. And to be honest, be completely honest, Led Zeppelin does that for me as well. I think Robert Plant, when he goes into that high range, at times I don't really care for it. Um, but the good thing about Robert Plant is he doesn't always stay there. Like he does have range, so he can go that mid range and the lower range as well, and that's why I like that guy. But sometimes when he goes in that too high pitched stuff, I don't really care for it. Um, let's say Mustaine's riffs are mainly early Metallica songs. The first Megadeth album, Killing Is My Business, and Business is Good, has many mixed riffs from Metallica songs. Yeah. But I also think that, excuse me, Dave Mustaine has like a dark sense of humor. He has like a real tongue in cheek. So there is like a underlying humor to what he does as well. And I do appreciate that. I like that. Because it feels like he's not taking it too seriously. He's a soft rock ballad singer, frontman, and heavy progressive rock. Yeah, it's not really metal. It doesn't fit. Same thing with Coheed and Cambria, prog rock fronted by whiny emo voice. Yeah, and that's actually, it's weird because it is kind of a prog rock thing where they have singers with higher range. But man, I think some of these prog rock guys, if they're going to continue with the legacy, get some guys with like lower registers. I like that mellow voice. Like I think Dio is the perfect voice, because that guy, he has the lower range and he has the mid range and he has the high range. Um, Chris Cornell, yeah, if you could get a singer like that, like Chris Cornell, I think Chris Cornell in the early days of Soundgarden was fucking phenomenal. I think somewhere that guy blew out his voice, because the later Soundgarden stuff, his solo stuff and Audio Slave, I didn't really care for his voice. King Diamond, I don't know, man. I have friends that keep going, King Diamond, King Diamond. I could never really get into it. It has all the earmarks of something I would like, but King Diamond vocals, emo vocals, yeah, uh, yeah, Dio. Yeah, even in the later years, you could tell that he didn't have the pipes. He didn't have that energy, that power, but it was still there even in his old age, man. Like he could still blow away a lot of the current singers. he was amazing in the early Soundgarden, though, I have to say. I do think somehow either age or just overusage, he blew his vocal cords out. The one guy that I always think like is Sammy Hagar is kind of a Chris Cornell guy, but I think that um, I'm not sure that Chris Cornell was a natural. I think that maybe he was working at it because like Hagar is kind of in that same, I kind of put them in that same like personality sound. To me, they sound similar. And I think Chris Cornell in the early days was perhaps better, but I think like Hagar was more consistent, and I think he still kind of has his chops, which Cornell was not able to hold on to, sadly, and R.I.P. as well. I do miss him, but I think that early Soundgarden stuff was freaking phenomenal. Tara Wombat, Dio was the best metal singer. I agree. I completely agree. I think that that guy could do no harm. And as far as that grunge stuff, I think Eddie Vedder was perhaps a little overrated, although he made it work lyrically and the band made it work. So I think like with the band, I think Eddie Vedder was a great vocalist. But if you were to take him out of the band, I'm not sure how good. But for me, it was Scott Weiland. Scott Weiland, oh, I'm getting chills just thinking about that guy. Scott Weiland is the best. Let me think. I know he's gone now, RIP, but I think he was the best contemporary singer that rock had to offer. That guy could go to the moon. He had that soulful range like a Hagar or like a Chris Cornell. He could go to the moon vocally. He had a great range, and he also had personality to his voice. He could do anything. That guy could do anything. And also, I'll say this too. I don't know how much of like taught he was as far as like vocally, like if he studied, but that guy inherently understood music in a major way, because he also produced a lot of those Limp Bizkit albums in the early days, and he sang on them as well. So I think the guy is musically the shit too. Like I think he writes great songs. I think he like everything he's part of. If you look at his career, everything that Scott Weiland was part of was better. Even the stupid stuff was way better with his either producing or being part of it some way. So I don't know if you guys agree, but I think Scott Weiland was amazing, amazing. Perhaps underrated. Sammy Hagar in Montrose was great. Same. I didn't like him in Van Halen. Like I don't want to mean like I'm heaping overly praise on Hagar. I don't like his lyrics. I think he's got a fairly decent stage presence. He live, the guy freaking is phenomenal. You can't. He's a natural. He's a natural talent. That vocal, he's natural. Like I was trying to say with Chris Cornell, I don't think Chris Cornell was natural. I think that's him really trying. And I also think that's why Cornell couldn't sustain it and Hagar could. Because Hagar with Montrose, Rock Candy, Rock the Nation, that shit, freaking amazing, man. The drums in Rock Candy, amazing. That was a really good band, Ronnie Montrose. Let me see, Terror Wombat. Dio Sabbath is criminally underrated. I agree. I love that stuff. I never got to see Sabbath, sadly, with what's his name? Oh my gosh, with Ozzy Osbourne. I never got to see that, but I did get to see Dio with or Sammy or oh, I'm sorry. I gotta slow down. Black Sabbath with Dio. I am sorry about that, you guys. I was totally. I think I'm getting tired. The problem with Vedder was all the cut rate clones he spawned. Yeah, possibly. I mean, he was definitely influential. Definitely is still one of my favorites. I listen to it all the time. Yeah. There's a story behind the heavy metal soundtrack. Um, Sammy Hagar didn't know that it was about the comic book magazine. He thought it was about heavy metal, the genre of music. And so the song has nothing to do with the comic book. He's actually singing about heavy metal. But yeah, that's pretty badass. And I do like, when he goes, call it heavy metal noise. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Um, are doing a new Home House reality show. Yeah, I'll probably watch it. I'll probably watch it. It's usually good for a Blue Oyster Cult. I think if there was no Blue Oyster Cult, there'd be no Ghost. I think Ghost, they're not wearing it as much on their sleeve as I think they should, as far as giving Blue Oyster Cult cred. But I think that Ghost is definitely Blue Oyster Cult. And I think Blue Oyster Cult is real hit and miss for me. I think they have some really good songs and they have some really horrible songs. I would say most of their songs are really bad. And also their albums are, and there's a few of them, but some of their albums are hard to listen to all the way through. So let's do this one last time. Let me show you the campaigns and see. I do have an active live campaign, which is black and white right now. So let me see. Okay, yeah. So this is the newer one. Let me refresh and see if we have any activity here. 36. Oh my gosh. You guys are the best. 400 backers. Can you see that? Oh my gosh. Thank you. 400 backers, 8 days left. So we lost a day, you guys, but we gained 2 backers. So we're at 400 backers. This is monumental. Thank you to everybody that's backed the campaign and supported this campaign. So this is because you wanted it, guys. This second chance exists because you demanded it. And I am so glad that that you're supporting it the way you are. So I'm just going to get into the highlights of it. We have a new piece of artwork right here done by myself and Kyle Ritter, the brilliant Kyle Ritter, who has a campaign, Starblades, right now, which is doing amazingly well. He is in demand right now. And so he colors my covers for me. I'm still pinching myself that I get to work with him, and also that Ethan is not just generous with his time and his channel, but he also, not that he can control, what Kyle does. I don't want to make it seem like that, but if I had a colorist like Kyle, I don't think I'd be happy with sharing him out either. And I'm not saying that Ethan is, but he does mention it time to time. So I've never had that conversation with him, but I do appreciate him making Kyle available, and I do appreciate Kyle coloring these up for me, because look at this thing. The proof is in the pudding, as they say. This is kick-ass, you guys. This is offered as a print, an oversized poster print. It is 36 by 24, and it comes with a lot of the other tiers. So it comes with the featured tier, and the featured tier is all 3 of the books, plus poster, plus the trading cards. Just to back up for a second here, we have all the tiers, you guys. All the tiers come with a brand new trading card, which is a 25th anniversary trading card, and it has that brand new Total Bot Annihilation artwork on it. So we also have the book. All the books come signed, and the books come with a card. The poster comes with a card. We have the Vampirilla Black and White. That comes with a card. We have the new Greg Capullo Virgin cover. Comes with a card. And then we have the drawing tier, which comes with a card plus book. So I would like to draw a little bit more for you guys. So if you could start supporting this, that would be great. And I'm going to draw these and bring these pieces together on live streams. So if you haven't heard, it is a 54-page graphic novel. It's a sci-fi action adventure. We have some spy. We have robots. We have vigilantism. We have all kinds of stuff in this book, you guys. It's about a vigilante duo. that basically fight illegal robots. So that's my quick pitch. And we got all the upgrades in the original campaign. So we went from 48 to 54. That's 10 new pages. We went from saddle stitch to square bound, and we upgraded all the paper and cover stock. So there's 4 pages here. You guys can get an idea of what the book looks like. Also, the book is done. So as soon as we get the trading cards done, we got 2 black and white trading cards for this campaign. As soon as we get those back from the printer, which should be soon, Pamela told me we will go into fulfillment. So this might possibly go into fulfillment before the campaign ends. So it's all going to depend on when we get those trading cards or not, because each one of the book tiers, or each one of the tiers, comes with a trading card. So we sold out of the original Grey Capullo, but we do have the Virgin variant cover that we're offering, and it has its own tier, and you can get that Virgin variant as an add-on. We have the commemorative black and white Vampirilla cover, which comes with the issue 1 of Vampirilla. And so this celebrates the 50th anniversary of Vampirilla. Look at her. Look at how sweet, how sexy she looks. And then we have black and white there helping support her major birthday. So black and white are celebrating 25 years, and Vampirilla is celebrating 50 years. So then we have this only as an add-on right now, the original campaign goodies, which is a trading card, 4 buttons, 2 embroidered patches. We have the mini print, the double-sided bookmark, and we have the new edition, which is the oversized sticker. So you guys, that is offered as an add-on right now, but we are going to bring up like the ultimate tier. We're going to put that back up soon, hopefully today, so you can get that with a tier. So thanks you guys so much. I do appreciate all the support. 400 backers is monumental. So I do appreciate this. I just wanted to emphasize that I do. I added another do, and now it sounds like poo-poo. So thank you guys so much. Let's hit refresh one last time. See if we can make some more magic happen. No, but I'm very happy with this. So you guys, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Chrono Mechanics is still in demand. We have we just passed the stretch goal. So we have a 45K stretch goal, which was these embroidered patches. We have these done. So as soon as we get the book back, the book, we will be going into fulfillment on Chrono. So I just want to let you guys see Chrono Mechanics is done. So this is the proof of the book. It is done. We're just waiting to get, we just added some little changes. It was all, this is all printed up in RGB. So I just found out that RGB, some of the subtleties as far as printing, does not register. So for some reason, it was sent to the printers as RGB and not CMYK. So that problem has been taken care of. I saw the CMYK version digitally. Stunning, you guys. This book is going to look so good. So it's taking a little bit more time to get it to you, but it's no compromise, you guys. No compromise on the book. So also the black and white book is done. Like I said, we're just waiting on the trading cards. So there's that. And then I'm going to show off once again the trading card proofs. So much. That's the Chrono proofs. Let's see if this is, that is not it. What is going on here? Oh, there it is. I tried to do this without looking. So here we go. So this is the card over here that's going to come with all the orders. So there's the back of the card down here. And so then this is the one next to it is the black and white trading card for the pre-launch. So anybody signed up for the pre-launch will get this card with the backing of a tier. So so that's the proof from the printers. We should be getting those any day now as well. So everything is coming together a little slower than I would like, but it is coming together. Oh yeah, so we got We got the chrono buttons. They're all packed. The lucky pick, Doug's lucky pick is there. We have, let me see if I can find them. We have all the stretch goal goodies. They're all made for the black and white. So we have the trading card. I had this in plastic because I want to take care of it. Like I said, we have the chrono patches made. We have the black and white MI6 Robotics Division, Anti-Robotics Division Task Force. Look at that thing. So that comes with the I'm sorry, you guys, with the stretch goal goodie tier. And so that is the Gunsight Yin Yang. Put this thing correctly. Is the black on the one side and the white? I think it's the white that's on the top side. So I think that's how it's supposed to be. So very good, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging. I do appreciate that. Let me see if I can answer this. Did Frega get his new channel up? Yes, he did. And you guys go over to Dan Frega Boom, and give him a sub. And if you could, please check your subs with me. Make sure that they're still there. Make sure that you hit that bell for, so when I go live, you'll be notified. And also, if you could give this video a thumbs up, I would appreciate that. And help spread the word, you guys. Like I said, this is all. Oh, here we go. Thank you. The channel is called Fragaboom. So yeah, go subscribe to Dan, and yeah, keep supporting all the Comics Gate guys. We are not haters. We are not alt-right. We are not ists and phobes. If you listen to us long enough, you will find out. Actually, it won't even take much time. You'll realize that we're pretty good guys. We're pretty normal guys, pretty down to earth. So Aces says, looking sweet. Thank you, guys. Thanks for all the support, all the love. I do appreciate that. Right back at you guys. And we have a Pontificator show tonight. So 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And I think we're going to have Chris Brawley on. And Chris is the Bleeding Fool guy that broke the Whisper Network, the female Whisper Network. So if you want, go back and check out, I think it was my live stream from the day before yesterday. And we cover a little bit of that, but we're going to go into more detail tonight. So I think we were the Comics Gate channel that broke it. We actually broke the news, I think, before EBS even got out. So that's a little feather in the Pontificator's hats. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about that tonight. So come by, hang out. I know there's a lot of competition Friday, but we do appreciate you coming by and hanging. So thanks. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you later tonight. Take care.